Greetings and welcome to Nine Ether Truth. I'm your host, Trinity God X. The title of this live stream video is The Purpose of the Tamahu. A few things. I'm going to open up the chat. So if you are able to hear me clearly, please type something to indicate such. I don't have my image, my likeness, my face on camera. I never will. For those from Facebook and WhatsApp, you already know what I look like. For logical and privacy reasons, especially given the content of my YouTube channel, I won't be ever showing my face on YouTube. That being stated, a few public service announcements I want to get out of the way. Obviously, if you're not 9 Ether, get the fuck off my channel. You're not wanted, you're a parasite, and I chant you out. Okay. Also, please donate to my Patreon account. What I'll do is I will put a link in the description box of this particular video, although the link is in the description box of all my videos. So if you can, please don't forget to like, comment, share, or subscribe if you're if you are a 9 Ether. Okay, so let's get into it. I see that there are two people here. I'm not let me just see if I can do the live message visible. Okay. I'm new to this kind of technology. This is the very first time that I'm doing this. So I just made chat visible. I can't really see the chats. Okay, so let's just leave it the way it is for now. But I want to get into the topic at hand. This topic was raised by Sis Estelle Lightborn in the comment section a few weeks ago, I think. And I mentioned to her that I would do a video on the topic. Although I have been super busy, I have not had any time to sit down and do a big production. So this is the most viable solution. Just do a live stream. I also wanted to take a moment before I forgot to thank Sis Anya Halivi. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. She is a recent donator to my Patreon account. So, Sis, I humbly appreciate you. And as usual, I always appreciate any donation that you can provide to my Patreon. Because honestly, 9 Ether Nation, I want to make these videos really often. Like, I would even do one every day. Although, as I mentioned before, my time just absolutely does not permit. Okay, so let's get right into the topic at hand. This is a very easy question for me to answer now. However, at the beginning, when I was waking up, when I realized the Tamahu was a low vibration being entity that is of Earth and of no other realm, and has an expiry date and is not the same species as 9 Ethers, the first logical question is why? Okay, what the fuck are these losers doing in the physical realm, wreaking havoc and making everything just horribly terrible? The air, the water, the nature, animal kingdom, oppressing 9 Ethers, oppressing 9 Ether gods. What the fuck, you know? Did somebody make a mistake somewhere? You know? And they're deceivers and liars and tricksters, and so it just, I was very puzzled. However, when I obtained much more knowledge down the line, and I'm not speaking of just reading books and what have you, I'm just talking about analyzing the whole situation, the entire scope of the situation, because really it is overwhelming to be stuck in on a flat earth covered over by a dome with these low vibration creatures. It's like you're trapped in a glass box with fire ants, and they're biting you and you just want to get out, right? However, I had to change my mindset about the whole thing and not look at it negatively, or not look at it as if it was just a mistake or something bad for 9 Ether people. I had to look at the Tamahu from a metaphysical, spiritual perspective. Because if I just look at the plain surface value of the crackers and the Chinese Indian, all of them are Tamahu. It don't matter as long as they don't have a black mother and a black father. They are Tamahu. Because if I just look at them, I'm like, why? You know, they're hogging up all the wealth. They're stealing up all the land. They're raping up all the children and all the babies. They're making sure that the ones who are melanated on this earth suffer and see problems and is oppressed. So what the fuck? I mean, that's just the surface value. However, I am going to get more deeper into the spiritual aspect of the purpose of the Tamahu. I'm also going to talk about why it's vital we do not mate, fornicate, date, romantically desire these low vibration creatures. And I have to pause the story for a moment. I met a sister 2, 3 weeks ago, and she was very pleasant, what have you. She had a baby with her. Baby looks about 2, 3 months. I could tell the baby was mulatto. I mean no disrespect to anyone who ever slept with a Tamahu, desired a Tamahu, has a Tamahu half mulatto, half Tamahu child, who is married or dating one currently. I'm just gonna be fucking blunt. There's no room in the 90th Nation for nation traders. Point blank. Period. The sister I met, she's great. I met her mom. They're great. What have you? However, I have zero tolerance for nation traders. They're disgusting. They're like slime on my fucking skin, because if you know even surface history, the dumb shit, the lies they show you on TV and in the books about what Tamahu have done to Nine Ether people, logically speaking, you would have to be pathetically mentally sick beyond belief to even look at that creature called Tamahu, whether it's Chinese, Indian, or Caucasian, or even a mulatto, and say, I want that. For that has strains of diseases on it that nine ethers do not. Okay. And it's sad because this sister, her child, has a issue, a disease. I'm not going to mention where or what have you. I'm not going to mention the sister's name, and it's apparent on the child's face. And in my mind, heart of hearts, I know that strain came from a cave creature. Now, if the sister is listening, I have spoken to you on the phone, and I have mentioned to you why it's important for us to stay away from the Tamahu. And you yourself told you, a Tamahu told you that they are different from nine ethers. So, I'm not saying anything new or shocking, or I'm not trying to hurt anyone. I'm just keeping it scientific, and I'm keeping it 100. There is a reason why we are melanin dominant and the low vibration beings are melanin deficient. Remember, I always state in most, if not all of my video about the yin and yang symbol. Our existence is literally yin and yang. Duality is needed in order for us to be. Duality is needed for existence, period. So this sort of touches on what I'm going to be mentioning about the purpose of the Tamahu. Unfortunately, they are needed. I say unfortunately, I'm really thinking as a physical being. I really shouldn't say unfortunately. I should say fortunately. Good for us nine ethers. The Tamahu exists. And I'll tell you why in a moment. So let me just backtrack and give some context, because maybe someone is listening to my video for the first time and they don't know the backstory about these Tamahu. So basically, these nine ether woundless atrophied females created them. It's said that Jacob created them. I don't really buy into that story. I think there were many Jacobs. We had many low vibration, well, not low vibration, but lower halves of the gods. We X chromosome are the gods that fell from the heaven realm, came here into the physical around Kenya or Ethiopia, and then we self-procreated. We populated the earth through parthenogenesis. Then we started to fall spiritually from demigods to more physical. We became trapped into the physical, and then we started birthing the Y chromosome melanated wombless atrophied females. These are our lower halves. If you've ever watched the movie iRobot with Will Smith, I forgot the year. I always analyze that movie as telling two stories. First of all, it's telling the story of Jacob and his men creating the Tamahu. Just imagine or visualize the robot being the Tamahu and Will Smith's character being Jacob or many Jacobs. And if you remember that story, there's this one robot, that's doing everything as the robot does. However, he thinks he is smarter than that which that made him, Will Smith, his creator. So he tried to overthrow the creator. Well, that story is telling, obviously, as I mentioned, about the creation of the Tamahu. However, that story on an even deeper level is telling about the story about the Y chromosome wombless atrophied females, and how when they came out of our womb, they saw that we had superpowers, that we had a womb, that we had breasts to feed a baby, and decided for some reason that they were jealous of us. They wanted to outshine us. They wanted to outdo us, and they made the Tamahu. Sometimes I say it's against the God's wishes, although I think that maybe the God would have sanctioned and agreed for the male Y chromosome wombless atrophied females melanated to make the Tamahu, because without the Tamahu, the Y chromosome wombless atrophied females could not exist. And I will explain that to you in further details. First and foremost, yeah. So the I Robot movie is very much telling about the animosity that Y chromosome melanated woman's atrophied female held for that which created him. That would be his God. That would be melanated X chromosome gods. And it's so funny because in some videos I have mentioned that I do see the jealousy and animosity that melanated males have against melanated females. There is this game or this competition that they have in their mind whenever they see a female. I'm a female. I do a lot of things. In 2010 to 2015, I founded and basically single-handedly ran this not-for-profit organization that brought speakers from the States here to Toronto. So I successfully did that for 5 years. And I would get a lot of recognition for that. I wasn't doing it for the recognition. I'm a very humble person, but these fucking niggers, and I do mean niggers, these are the Y chromosome woman's atrophied females, melanated. They would come at me, okay, trying to bust up my event and sell their products, trying to talk about me behind my back, trying to backbite and step over me in every which way they can. Yeah, these are the males. You know, the ones that are supposed to protect, defend the gods, the ones that are supposed to be calling each other kings and having a kingdom. These are the motherfuckers that when they see a god doing well and being successful, they get fucking jealous and try to pull her down and tear her down. These are the motherfuckers. And I'm talking about a few, not all. So I'm saying when I see that behavior displayed, yeah, it's very clear to me what happened back in the days of Kemet when the gods came from the heaven realm and finally birthed these womanless atrophied females. I always say that I'm not trying to tear down or put down the womanless atrophied melanated females, the Y chromosome kind, but I gotta keep it 100. We have been too conditioned to be afraid to open our mouth and say anything. And quite frankly, that is to our detriment because bad behavior will always manifest if no one speaks up. So I'm a proponent of you can't solve anything if you don't acknowledge it exists. So I'm sorry if, no, I'm actually unapologetic if my words hurt anyone because you should have known everything I'm stated by now in the so-called information age. So if all I'm saying to you is shocking, well, fuck your feelings because facts are facts and facts, like myself, don't give a fuck about your feelings. Moving on back to the story. So yeah, these so-called melanated men created the Tamahu. And I stated earlier that I think that the gods would have agreed, and I'll tell you why. As I mentioned before, existence needs yin and yang. If these Y chromosome came out of our womb and they are our lower half, they are the yin to our yang. But who would be the yin to their yang? We are, yes, higher vibration beings. However, they wanted to play God, be God, and create. This is something that men alone cannot do. Creative energy is feminine energy, and to be more specific, God energy, melanated God energy. So therefore, they physically created something that they could not create with their own magic or superpower or body like the gods could. And they seek to be the ruler and the creator of some other being, but they could not do it any other way but physically. So, you know what? Nine Ether, womanless atrophied females, you are the Tamahu's god because you created that motherfucker. And everything that is going on where the Tamahu is concerned, raping, stealing, pillaging, hogging up all the wealth, you have responsibility for that. Now, I had a conversation with an ex of mine because we always knocked heads. This was about 6 years ago. This motherfucker had the nerve to tell me that it's us black women who are at fault for the Tamahu's existence. You see what I mean? They always find a way to throw shit back into God's face to bring her down when in reality they're just doing or saying shit out of their own insecurity because at the end of the day, they don't have a fucking womb and they don't have breast to feed the baby or a vagina to birth a baby. So for those who don't have a breast to feed a baby and a womb and a vagina, you ain't got shit to say where the Tamahu is concerned because I know, and it doesn't matter what a womanless atrophied female Y chromosome says, I know that it is the melanated men who are responsible for the atrocity called the Tamahu. All right, so getting back to the thick of things, yeah, So the yin and yang is really the dynamic between the black men and the Tamahu, because they are the god that created the Tamahu. That's part of the yin to their yang. So nothing else on this earth is lower than a Tamahu. On a spiritual level, that's it. I mean, even the smallest microbial cell or atom is higher vibration than a Tamahu. Tamahu is the end of the line. I don't know if you have ever seen it. Maybe you can Google the snake eating its tail. Well, the snake has a head and the snake has a tail, and then there's everything in between. And of course, since the snake is eating its tail, it also makes a circle, a perpetual motion going around in a cycle. Well, the head of the snake is Black Mama God. She is the superior being to all. She is the start and beginning of everything. She is the creator, the most high. That is the head of the snake. Then you have the middle of the body. That would be your little mixtures. Obviously, wombless atrophy, Y chromosome came out of our womb. So they're somewhere in the middle, somewhere there. And then, of course, you got the Chinese Indian mixtures, all sorts of kind of mixtures. And the end of the tail, the lower part of the snake would be the Tamahu. And around in a circle, in a cycle it goes. And every one of the beings along the line are interconnected, just like God is interconnected with her Y chromosome wombless atrophied females and her babies. And then these Y chromosome wombless atrophied melanated females are connected to the Tamahu, that which they created. That is why it is God, X chromosome wombless atrophied female, that is closer tied to nature. We are netter. And I know some of you males want to claim nature and netter, but if you were nature, you would have a womb and breastfeed a baby and a vagina to birth one. So I'm not saying that you can't love and appreciate nature, but I'm sorry you cannot claim that title, netter. And another fucking thing, since we're on titles, stop fucking calling each other kings, okay? Because last I checked, in this white supremacy society, you motherfuckers don't own a kingdom. Matter of fact, on a global grand scale, I shouldn't even say global, on a worldwide scale, you don't own a hospital, credit union, nothing. Not talking individually, I'm talking as a worldwide collective. So, yeah, king, that's just something that you say to stroke each other's egos. But at the end of the day, a king owns a kingdom, just like an emperor owns an empire. So, yeah, fuck that noise because it's inaccurate and it's foolish. And that's all I have to say about that one. So, I'm trying to see where I can see live chats, but I can't. I'm trying to work my phone right now, and nope. I want to. I. So I'm not. Ugh. I'm just gonna continue because I'm not really trying to play around with this technology right now. It's working the way I want it to work. I just wish that I could see comments. Maybe if I. Okay, I'm on my laptop and my cell phone. So what I'll do is I will try to log out. I'll try to work it out anyways. But if you are able to type something in the chat, please go ahead and do so. I'll let you know when I can visually see it while I see my live stream. So let's see what happens on my computer when I click on it. My live stream. Oopsie, sorry. This is oh, okay, so I can see a little chat there. So if you're hearing me, I'm gonna put hey Naniser Nation. And if you see that or you're hearing me, go ahead and type something. And then we can have a really, oh, I can see it on my phone as well. So all the time that I was speaking, no one was typing on the chat. So now I get the hang of all of this stuff. Okay, so back to the topic at hand. So I mentioned why the Tamahu was created and the Tamahu's purpose. The Y chromosome wombs atrophied melanated females needed their lower half. They needed another yin to their yang because we gods have a yin to our yang. It's the Y chromosome wombs atrophied female, and we are supposed to be the yin to the melanated male's yang. If you know what I mean. However, because this is a physical realm, everything goes lower and lower. It doesn't get higher and higher. It's a challenge out here to keep your vibration high and your thoughts high vibrational. It is a really it's so complicated and difficult. Not saying it's impossible. It's just it's a challenge because we are currently immersed in a low vibration realm. So that is the purpose of the Tamahu in a nutshell. Yes, They're wreaking havoc on nine ether nations, people. However, it's a necessary. It's like a diamond. In order to get a diamond, you must put it under pressure, and that's how you get it to turn into a diamond. Similar to what us gods is going through, we have to go through this divine test in order to be greater gods. So if ever you want to say, well, why me? Oh my gosh, I'm so good and I do well, and but all these terrible things are happening to me. Everything happens for a reason. Has a purpose. Just remember that. No matter how horrible or how sad, everything does have a reason. And we are supposed to be learning our lesson down here in the physical. We are supposed to be, because we're all mixed up. It's like a trail mix of beings, that high vibration, medium, low vibration. And so the challenge is how you interact with these low vibrational beings. And when I say low vibration, I'm not only speaking of the Tamahu, because the majority of people, regardless of their phenotype or race, are low vibrational. They're like robots. They just watch TV, eat, sleep, have sex, weed, partying, going shopping, driving their vehicles, taking care of their children, picking up their children from the daycare. And I'm not saying these things are not necessary for life, but it's very robotic. It's very hamster wheel. I'm from Jamaica. When I was living in Jamaica as a little child, I got up, I went to the chicken coop, got the eggs, and then gave it to the adults, and that was it. On the weekend, I went running and running in the bushes, and if it was rainy, I would make mud figurines, and we would be rolling. I mean, it was just being one with nature. Every day it was a new adventure, and we had no internet, no cell phones, no PCs, no very little toys. If we had a toy, we make out of milk cartons and pop bottles and sticks and rocks. I kid you not. And we were obviously contented. And back then, we were more closer to the African values of community, because if you were a child and you got in trouble, everyone in the community knew and they would give you help for it. So obviously, we were also immersed in the fucking church. I mean, that part of me, I'm just, it's like slime on my skin. However, like I said, everything is necessary, because it is because I was immersed in the church why I slowly over time realized that the church was bullshit. People that go to church, bullshit. You are just brainwashed sheep. That's all you are. And they are failed to think outside the box. Well, I'm speaking of Christians. And they have failed to see through things and see the deeper meaning of things. They just see things on a surface level. And they are programmed and designed as Christians to see things on a surface level. Because if the pastor ever really taught real truth, the church would want to stone him out of town, because the pastor is just perpetuating lies told in a book of lies, metaphor, simile, allegory, and it's rewritten and rewritten by Tamahu. A God does not write a book. A God carves motherfucking shit in stone. Okay? Go back to Kemet and see what the gods did. That shit is permanent, thousands of years old. So who am I gonna believe? The gods who carved the shit in stone, or even sanctioned it by their lower half to be carved in stone, or some fucking book, which books can be fabricated, twisted, distorted, misunderstood, misinterpreted. Which one is more credible to me? Exactly. So that's, like I said, but Christianity itself, or being religious, or religious people themselves, also have a purpose, because we who are awake can see the bullshit and laugh at the bullshit and stay the fuck away from the bullshit. That makes me segue into my other section. Why it's important to stay away from the Tamahu. Well, if all I didn't say before, moments earlier, or all that you know about what's going on in the world with the Tamahu, if that alone isn't enough to make you stay the fuck away from these Tamahu, well, then you're mentally sick. Because I'm not saying that you can't interact with them at work, at school, when you're running your errands, if a technician comes to your house, if you need to go to the hospital, if there's an emergency of some kind, yeah, go ahead and interact with them. However, do not sit and break breads with this motherfucker, unless it's work and they're forcing you to go to some lunch or some dinner. However, you need to stay away from the Tamahu as nine ether beings. They are energy sucking vampires. And I'm not trying to make it seem like only Tamahu are energy sucking vampires, because melanated folks can be energy sucking vampires. Everything is vibrational. And you need to learn the skill of how to read by vibration. And it's not just a bad feeling, that it goes deeper than that. Low vibration beings tend to drain you. When you are around them, you just want to, when you come home, take a shower, finally get to sleep, you feel like you were digging a ditch because your energy is so drained. You must consort with nine ethers who are advanced thinking, who are intelligent, movers and shakers on the go, not too matrixy into politics and government bullshit, because that's low vibration. But people who have alternative information or who question things, who have intelligent conversation, who have some form of advanced knowledge, those are the high vibration beings, nine ether beings that a nine ether being who's awake should be consorting with. Other than that, nah, you're just wasting your time. Even if you're trying to wake up a dumb motherfucking sheep, to me, I'm not trying to dictate, but my philosophy is that's a waste of fucking time. Okay? I ain't got no time, no energy. I would rather work with those who are on the go, progressive in some way, shape, or form in their behavior and in their thought, as to work with someone who's like, no, you're lying. Black woman is not God. No, we live on a round spinning ball and water to this motherfucker. Listen, that's a dummy. That's a definition of a dummy, and yeah. So, it's very important that you know who's who vibrational wise and stay the fuck away from these creatures. Now, how to deal with these mulattoes around here? This is this is $1 million question because they're half so-called melanated nine ether and half Tamahu. Now, to me, one drop of ink, of black ink in a white can of paint, the can cannot no longer be called black or white. It's a mixture. That's all it is. So mulatto people are biracial. There's some clowns and they keep calling mulattoes black and or mulattoes that identify as black. You can identify it with whatever the fuck you want. You can identify it with a tree, with a slug, with a bird. It doesn't matter what you identify with. At the end of the day, everything boils down in the physical to genetics. And your genetics is part Tamahu and part nine ether. That means you are neither, you are just both. So a mulatto is a biracial. And now, what to do with these mulattoes that claim that they're awake and they're into RBG or metaphysical this, that, and the third? It's a challenge because, yes, they're eager to learn and they reject the Tamahu side of them. But be very mindful because these are wolves in sheep's clothing. They can play both sides and they do. What I call them is genetic double agents, okay? They can flitter and float up on any side, black or white, that they want. And that to me is very, very dangerous. You can't reveal your secrets to these motherfuckers because at any time, if you displease them, they're just jumping over to the other side. And they will be easily accepted. Why? Because they're part Tamahu. Another thing about mulattoes is they can take advantage of white privilege. You, with your black ass nine ether, cannot. So that alone is a big slam dunk why we nine ethers should stay away from any being that does not have a nine ether mother or a nine ether father. Like I said, if it's a necessity to interact with other phenotypes, other mixtures, other races, or the Tamahu, if it's a necessity, go right ahead. However, on your personal high vibrational time, keep these motherfuckers out your shit. If you have a lecture and you're organizing a nine ether lecture or a nine ether gathering, keep these motherfuckers out of your shit. That would be the Tamahu and the mulattoes alike. Because to me, mulattoes and Tamahu are interchangeable. I don't care if the motherfucker has RBG colors on from head to toe and he or she is mulatto. I don't give a fuck if they claim our African or Caribbean culture. I don't give a fuck. At the end of the day, that's just a cracker with a tan. So yeah, that's my personal take. Again, I don't dictate to anyone. If you want to be floating and fluttering around with every race and culture, every vibration, go ahead. Just be mindful that you are receiving essences from low vibration creatures. Most of these are psychic and energy vampires, and they will bring your vibration low the more and more you consort with them. That is why if you can start your own business or homeschool as a nine ether, go ahead and do so. That will further take you away from these Tamahu or these mixture of Tamahu low vibrational beings. And again, I don't even care if it's a Tamahu that is into our melanated or African Kemetic shit. I don't give a fuck. Keep that person out of your shit. I don't care if the cracker comes with a dashiki and a big old onk and a fucking fake afro. Keep that motherfucker away from your shit, okay? Remember, this is a spiritual war that we are fighting. And these low vibration beings come in very many cartoon character. But at the end of the day, it's like the movie They Live, when the cracker could put on the glasses and can see what was real and what was a alien looking creature. At the end of the day, if you strip apart the clothes and what have you, that motherfucker snake is coming to you with a hidden agenda. If they're coming into your organizations or your black events or what have you, they're information gathering. And you can bet they will steal your shit because the Tamahu is a thief by nature. They will steal your shit. Go over to their white privilege side and put together the information that they gathered from you, and they make money for their shit on their Tamahu side. Same thing when they come into our African and Caribbean country. The Chinese, the Indian, and the Tamahu, well, they're all Tamahu. The furheads come into our country, take of the resources, take of the information, do whatever they want with the land, and bring the wealth back into their fucking cave-beast Neanderthal country at the end of the day. So these are very, very, very sophisticated, low vibration creatures. Don't watch the fucking smile. Don't watch the nice words and the kind gestures. Ignore all that motherfucking shit and just deal with them on a vibrational level, and you'll know that it's you have to stay away from. And for the nine ethers who actually females who actually got received Tamahu phallus, or nine ether who took his rod and stuck it in a cave bitch's death hole, you are contaminated for life. Sorry. That's the end of the road for you. Most likely, if you leave the physical, you'll come back and reincarnate. That is the ultimate spiritual violation, to fornicate with that which is not a nine ether as a nine ether. Point blank, period. There is no discussion. There is no exception. You take a nine ether rod as a you take a Tamahu rod as a nine ether female. That's it. That's the lowest spiritual crime you could ever commit. So yeah, that's my take on why we should stay the fuck away from these Tamahu, because they're no good in any way, shape, or form. You can interact with them and be respectful to them if you have to. Other than that, stay the fuck away from the Tamahu. Okay. I don't really see. Oh, yeah. I'm looking at one that says, "Lord, you're so true. We have noticed." By Miss Cosmetic Star Elder. Thanks for your feedback, sis. But I gotta keep it 100 because people are afraid to speak. I don't know what it is about me. Maybe my upbringing. Because I'm not really from North America, even though I sound like it. But there's something in me that I'm not afraid of these fools. I'm not afraid of any fool. And I'm not afraid to speak my mind and tell the truth, regardless of anything. I don't care about the consequences. As my promo video for my channel states, if you shut my shit down on YouTube, I'm just going to up and start another one. Because I'm fucking determined to make sure that who needs to hear this truth gets to know the truth. I'm not like these other YouTubers out here and they're just gimmicky. They just like to be in front of the camera just to catch attention, and it strokes their ego, what have you. Or they're talking about doom and gloom. Oh, the Sky family's coming and this and all the earth is going to end. I'm not trying to be all like that. I'm just giving you the straight information for educational purposes. I always say whatever you do with the information, it's on you. It has nothing to do with me. Your own actions is governed by you. So if you want to blame something on the Nine Ether Truth channel or anything that I say, motherfucking don't even bother, okay? Because I'm more intelligent to know that everyone is self-governing for the most part. So take the information if you want, leave it if you want. I don't give a fuck either way. I'm just putting it out there, okay? And I'm encouraging people to come into the chat room. If you have any questions, type into the chat, or if you want to interact, because I don't want this to be just Trinity God X just rattling on. I do have a lot of information that I want to get out. However, it's not just a one-way conversation. Nine Ether Truth is for all the nine ethers from coast to coast worldwide, right? So I'd love to hear if you ever had any questions about these Tamahu, because when I first came into knowledge about 12, 13 years ago, I had tons of questions, because now I had knowledge. I'm like, well, what the fuck? What are these creatures doing all around us? And keep it 100. Yes, I do. Keep it 100. So I always had questions about the Tamahu. It's a head scratcher. On one hand, I'm thinking, well, if this person is nice to me and great to me and good to me, why can't I be just cordial back? The answer is yes, you can be cordial back. However, keep in mind that they are not your species. And as such, you should treat the being just like it's not your species, because as a nine ether, we are all we got. That's it. We are all we got. Don't try to extend your hand out to anyone that is not nine ether. Don't do it. And I'm not saying that, like, if you need help, you can't ask for help. I mean, be logical. But what I'm saying is, in your own personal time, keep either yourself to yourself or keep it in the nine ether nation. That's it. Okay. So, like, I don't want to finish this live cast too early because I want to engage, and it says there's 7 people chatting, so don't be shy. If you have a question, just ask away. I don't even care if a Tamahu is here and they have a question about their own Tamahu self. I am okay. I will tell you about your Tamahu self because I don't give a fuck about feelings, just like truth don't give a fuck about feelings, right? That was my my little rant. Let me get back into teaching, okay? I know that it can be a challenge to navigate in the matrix, period. Tamahu or no Tamahu. Just daily living it is a challenge every single day, especially if you have some form of consciousness and you're awake. I can't give you an answer as to how to be. You can only determine how you live your life. I can tell you that just be mindful that not all skin folk is kinfolk, because even those who are those who are nine ether, will be out to get you, will disrespect you, will try to hurt you or tear you down. And I don't want you to use that as a reason to turn your back against your nine ether nation and go over to the Tamahu side and say fuck it, right? That is the weakest act. And I know in my heart of hearts that a lot of these coons and sellouts out here did exactly that. They tried to date a nine ether, or they were attracted to their fellow nine ether, or they wanted to get into the nine ether clique or what have you, and for some reason it just didn't pan out. So they just threw their hands up and said fuck it, and then just went over and went to fuck a Tamahu and produce some friggin' zebra children. Like, really? That's gonna be the reason for you to turn your back against your own nation? Meanwhile, this flat, motionless plane is so vast and so big. If you only took the time to travel to other countries, you would see that you would be very accepted. And a lot of these coons and sellouts, some of them are dark skinned, or maybe they're fluffy and few extra pounds over 200, right? So they figure, well, because I look a certain way, I'm gonna be rejected by my own people. So let me just go over to the Tamahu side, and he'll worship me for my extremely dark skin. First of all, that is very, very low self-esteem. That is very, very low. Secondly, like I said, travel more. People make judgments based on their own little corner of the world, and make generalizations about people based on their little own corner of the world. If they took the time to go from country to country to country, they would see how their features, their big nose, their big lips, big ass, or maybe their extremely dark skin, is very accepted by the nine ether people in that region. No, so they just throw their hands up and decide to be a super coon. Let me tell you something about fucking coons. I don't have any patience, any energy, any time for fucking coons. That is, I mean, and the worst kind of coon is the one that put up their Tamahu on a pedestal. Like, like the fucking cave person that they're sleeping with is the best, better than the God, the first God, the supreme being. That just irritates the fuck out of me. How can this bitch who sunburns, who sheds like a dog, who has a fucking tail, who is weak genetically in every shape and form, and who has strains of diseases on her, how can that stink cave bitch be any better than the worst nine ether female? How? When the nine ether female has the God particle in her. So as I mentioned, it doesn't matter if she is homeless, sleeping on the street, or if she's rich in a mansion, or anything in between. At the end of the day, she is the only supreme being in this physical with the God particle on her DNA. So yeah, nothing she said, nothing a nine ether female says, does, acts like will change the fact that she still has the God particle on her DNA. And a lot of these fucking Negroes out here, the sellouts and non-sellouts, are jealous of the fact that, yeah, black woman is God, you know. And I'm not trying to be boastful, I'm just trying to be factual, but it just shows you that my spiritual theory about how these women's atrophied lower halves became jealous of God, it shows it kind of puts some validity to my speculation, because they are so super jealous of a successful melanated woman. I let me tell you, I do a lot. I used to have the not-for-profit organization. I don't anymore. I have my own business. Plus, I'm helping this African group put on a beauty pageant. So I'm on the committee to plan and help organize that. So I'm like, I'm on the go. I'm busy, busy. I don't really have time for shit. And then these so-called Negroes out here will observe my behavior and observe how I move and who I talk to in the community and start to build animosity towards me. Most of them don't even know me. All they know is I'm a sister and I'm doing shit. And maybe because they're insecure. In fact, I damn well know they're insecure and they're threatened by the success of a melanated sister. So it just baffles my mind when these men out here, nine ethers, who are supposed to be protecting us and uplifting the gods and defending the gods, are the very ones turning around and hurting us, like really tearing us down. And I'm gonna call this shit out. I'm not afraid to speak, and I always say I'm not speaking of all. I'm speaking of some who the cap fit. So really and truly, like, that is the biggest form of self-hate. The ones that are supposed to be our lower halves, helpers, protectors, defenders, are the very ones turning around and molesting babies in the community, raping, beating women, being a nation traitor, and fucking a cave bitch. Like, it's a miracle. It's a wonder why a lot of the people in the world don't really look at the black woman, the melanated woman, as she, like in the video, she ain't shit basically. She's just a stripper, a sexual object. That's it, right? However, they always say, and I shouldn't say they always say, I know the Bible says it, but the first shall be the last and the last shall be the first. Because we are God. We've been so far dethroned, so far put on in the back burner. And it's only obvious then when the cycle repeats itself, replenishes itself, God will be back on her throne. She she will be back where she belongs. And a lot of these niggas out here are jealous of that. But to that, I don't give a fuck because really and truly, you can't stop the inevitable. You either jump on the train or jump off. You only have two choices. Pick a side, motherfucker. Like, this is the reality of things. And then there's some idiots out here who will say the cave bitches is white queen. queen. Queen of what? Queen of them caves? Yeah, she's the queen of them caves where she was flinging feces, fucking babies, fucking animals, same-sexing and killing and eating dead people and dead animals. Yeah, she's the queen of that. Okay? So don't come to me with your blue-eyed, blonde hair. Oh, this is my white queen, snow bunny queen. You need to take a permanent seat somewhere. I have to laugh because the thought of a fucking cave bitch who's a queen, it just baffles me. And then let me tell you something. I'm gonna address some of these males on the continent for a moment. Stop marrying these fucking knuckle dragging Neanderthals and bringing them into your so-called village and what have you. They're only there to steal your wealth, motherfucker, and perhaps fuck you and get some melanated half mulatto babies. That's it. There's no love there. They're there to steal your motherfucking wealth. Okay? It's probably too late for me to even say this because a lot of these so-called African males and some females are marrying these Tamahus. And to me, that's very disheartening because I know the Tamahu's main and only purpose is to steal the wealth of the continent. Granted, I already know that the continent belongs to the Tamahu, Chinese, and Caucasian, anywho. But just to see, they have the gele and the African garb on the fucking cave beast and they're dancing and jumping around at the so-called wedding where this 9 ether sellout coon is marrying this bitch. That's a scene that really is very disgusting and sickening to me. So stop doing it. The Tamahu is only there to intermarry into our families, to steal our wealth, to obtain knowledge, and then take it for themselves and go back to their cave beast country and make profit and then throw us in the gutter where they found us. That's what they're there for. That is their only reason. Don't let them tell you, oh baby, you're beautiful, I love you, and put you up on a pedestal. Don't let them fill your head with these egotistical, ego stroking phrases, and then you think that the Tamahu is better than your own people. Don't be motherfucking dumb. Okay? Don't be dumb. A sister was saying, oh, black vagina envy. Hell motherfucking yeah. The whole fucking world is envious of that black vagina. Remember what they did to Sarah Barton? I mean, really, cutting up in the pieces and then putting the vagina in the jar. Really? Okay, now if that don't scream black vagina envy, I don't know what does, right? And it really is, because the black vagina is the most powerful body part on the earth. Yes, it is. And it pumps out a lot of babies. And obviously there are exceptions to every rule. I'm speaking for the most part, from end to end. As long as the sister is relatively healthy, or she is in a healthy, clean environment, she can pop out babies till, I don't know, late 50s, early 60s. It don't matter. And you probably think, oh, that sounds outrageous. No, it don't. No, it don't. As I said, it stated in some of my previous videos, there are a lot of things in the matrix designed to attack the melanated womb. And it's there to make sure that, number one, we don't turn back into parthenogenesis as we should. In my previous video, I stated that these fibroids that we're having is the body trying to turn back into parthenogenesis. Number two, they're trying to make sure that we are not having as many babies, if not try to make us barren if they can, because that will level the playing field, because it's the cave bitch who's barren. Her fucking yoni is drier than the fucking Sahara Desert. That is why she has to use KY jelly, okay? She don't have nothing up there. It's fucking sandpaper. And I'm not speaking from experience. A brother told me this. A few brothers that sold out told me this. Because let me tell you something. I'm Sagittarius, I'm very inquisitive, and I love to ask questions. So to the brother, if I'll be at a conscious event where there's all nine ethers, and one brother will either be with his mulatto child, or he will tell me in conversation that he had a cave bitch, I will just ask him. I would say, like, okay, what's it like fucking that, right? I would just say, because I would say to the brother, because I'm sure you fucked a sister, right? So what's the comparison? And 9 times out of 10, here's the feedback. That cave bitch, she dry up there. She drier than the fucking Sahara Desert. And the brothers also tell me that sisters are wet for the most part up there. It feels better, it feels comfortable, it feels warm. A brother also told me that their skin feels like a cold plastic bag. I'm trying to be all serious. Yo, this fucking Tamahu, whether male or female, is the most disgusting creature on earth, point blank, period. Okay? That's why there's no other creature more disgusting than the Tamahu, than the pig. Because that is their cousin. Because they have pig gene in them. That's why they sunburn like the pig. The Tamahu is disgusting inside their body and outside. Okay? But the good thing is they are becoming extinct. And the formula for extinction is low birth rate and high mortality rate. This is why they're trying all these so-called health products, and they're trying to exercise and do yoga, and they're even organ harvesting the 9 ethers. This is their desperate attempt to survive. All this fucking GMO food out here is killing 9 ether folks, but it's doing okay with the Tamahu, because GMO is who the Tamahu is. Genetically modified organism is the Tamahu. That's who they are. So GMO is great for them. Natural food, however, is not great for them. It actually it quickly kills them. It harms them. Natural food is good for 9 ether folks. So anywhere you can go and get your farm fruits and vegetables, or grow your own, if you can go to a tropical island where it's always sunny and the air is clean, the water is clean, go live there, go be there, anywhere on the I'm reading the sister's comment. Thankfully, my black dad. I got a black mom and a black daddy too. Okay, that's why I can speak with such confidence. Okay, and then stupid people are always, whoa, what about slavery? We're all mixed up with shit. No, you're not. Shut the fuck up. Okay, your mother and your father determines your race. Point blank. Period. So kill that noise, because you're just being dumb. Obviously, in my personal gene pool, 8 generations down the line, maybe 10 generations down the line, yeah, there's probably a Chinese or Indian or Caucasian in there somewhere. Am I going to say because of 8 generations down the line I'm a Caucasian or I'm mulatto? Are you you must be out of your rabid mind. Okay, so your mother and your father determines your race. I've always said that in a few of my videos. And that just squashes the confusion and ends and this is what the Tamahu, this is what the so-called mainstream don't want you to know, how your phenotype is produced. Your phenotype is produced by your mother and your father. And when it comes to mixed race, biracial children, your so-called quote-unquote race, is the last decider is always the mother, the ma. However, at the end of the day, even if you do have a mixed race parent, or one of your parent is of a different race other than 9 ether, you are biracial at the end of the day. You cannot logically or scientifically call yourself black, and you cannot call yourself a white or a Caucasian, because you are neither. You are just both, and that's all you'll ever be, both. So don't be coming over on the nine ether side and trying to claim all the good things about us except our struggle. And when the struggle gets too high, you run your little half white ass back over to the Tamahu and go live in your mansion and eat from that silver spoon and take advantage of white supremacy. I don't think so. That game is not going to work. Not with me, and not with those who are intelligent nine ethers. So yeah, end that motherfucking mess. I am not the one for that. The funny thing about me, Trinity God X, is I really and truly, to the very fiber of my core of my being, don't give a fuck. Okay? I don't give a fuck. Listen, to me, I don't really see why it's necessary to be secretive or scared to speak the truth. It's not. This is the so-called revelation, the so-called book of Revelation. Revelation means to reveal. It is time to reveal the truth. No more silence. Silence perpetuates low vibration behavior such as child molestation. Think about that. If the child or someone who has awareness of the molestation is silent, the bad behavior perpetuates on and on. Like beating a woman. If that woman stays silent, the beating and continues. If she stays in the situation, it continues. If she speaks up, branches out, and tries to get help, she can improve her situation. That is how, 90 Ether Nation, you improve your situation in any bad situation, by speaking up and having a voice and not being afraid, having courage to extend yourself and tell the truth and try to get support if you can. That's the only way. Staying silent, You know what's funny? It's very probably difficult for you to believe. As a child, I was very, very quiet. I never actually started speaking until I came to Canada and they forced me to speak. So I'm talking about grade 2, grade 3 was the first time I really spoke up. And I'm not speaking of like, I was a very unusually quiet child. And so as I got older, I guess I'm making up for last time, because, and it isn't, I don't speak a lot, in my like private life. I'm very introverted and to myself. However, I'm okay to speak in the front of an audience, and if in the front of people when we're at meetings and such and so forth. But to have the value of silence and shutting your mouth and minding your own business and not speaking up, not when it comes to injustice and things that are unfair or violations of some kind or lies that need to be exposed, not in that context will I ever be silent. So I think I'm going to wrap up now. How long I don't even know. Wow. Wow. Okay, it's almost been an hour, like, and it's 4:48 right now. So there's nobody else in the chat room, I think, except for Miss Cosmetic Star, which sis, God, I appreciate you. Thank you for giving your little emojis and your feedback. I humbly appreciate the fact that you came in. I think I'll do more of these live shows, just simply because it makes my life easier, and I can just do it and forget about it. There's no preparation and no editing of videos and things that eat up my time where I don't have any. I want to release content to my 90th of Truth channel. I really do, as often as I can. However, as I said, I just don't have the time. I want to remind you, yes, enough love to you, sister, too. I want to remind you, please donate to my Patreon account if you can, even $1, sisters and brothers, please help a sister out. So, yeah, donate to my Patreon account. I will leave a link in the description. Don't forget to click like if you like, and definitely share this on social media. You know what? I've been banned from Facebook. I've been banned from Facebook for cussing off this brother that was trying to put down sisters. So I won't be on Facebook. For all my Facebook people that's wondering where I am, I'm currently banned, and I think by the middle of August is when I'll be. They always ban me for 30 days, huh? They always ban me for 30 days. No other number, just 30, because I speak the most truth. You know, it is what it is at the end of the day. I meditate that you learn something from the contents of my words. I really want to read your feedback in the comments. Please don't be shy to comment or add something or make a clarification. And the one sister that was in the chat, I appreciate you. I'll probably plan another one of these live shows. I don't know when. However, when I plan them, what I'll do is I'll release a short 2-3 minute video announcing it maybe a week before the actual live video, and then after I'll post up the live video. Okay. So that ends that. I hope you enjoyed or at least learned a little bit from the contents of what I just spoke. Until next time, my 9 Ether Nation, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment, especially donate to my Patreon account, which is in the description box. Until next time, 9 Ether Nation, this is Trinity God X saying oneness.